Elements by Rejects on AO3. Chapter 18. Chapter 17. Now trending. Leak photos reveal two Element members in a relationship. Elements Bakugou and Midoriya suspended from all activities. Midoriya and Bakugou from Elements make a public apology for misguiding fans. Baby and Me to finish with three members of Elements. Elements Bakugou and Izuku announce they are not in a relationship. Midoriya of Elements apologizes and promises he's focusing on music. Elements loses sponsors over dating debacle. Idol World. Hot. Elements Katsuki and Izuku are dating. Photos of Bakugou with his hand in Midoriya's back pocket as they leave the Midoriya household. Photos of Midoriya kissing Bakugou's cheek. It looks like that fun at X amusement park wasn't all just for Baby and Me after all. As it turns out, Bakugou and Izuku of Elements are dating. A fan on Chiper by the name of @st_Hanson happened to see them leaving what they suspected to be a parent's house and snapped some shots we thought we'd share. What do you think? Do you think they're cute? Do you support them at all or no? Comment with your thoughts. Edit. Please stop telling me that we ruined their careers. This is first and foremost a news site, and this specific topic is news. Whatever disturbances this caused lies with them and their agency. Not us or the photographer. Thank you. Comments. What the fuck? It's this what ruins careers. I thought this website was better than this. Shame on you and shame on that fan. Are you sure the fan just walked by, or was the fan stalking them? Because these look way too set up. It's creepy. Wow, great job, Idol World. You got two amazing singers suspended. Why is everyone angry at the writer when those two were the ones who were dating in the first place? There are rules to follow. Response to why is everyone? There's also a thing called invasion of privacy and also stalking. But since it's apparently okay to take photos of private moments as long as they're outside, these two things don't even fucking matter. What the hell? How is this okay? Take this down right now. The fan's Chiper has been suspended. We did it, guys. I knew they were close, but not this close. I don't know, I'm a little uncomfortable. I don't even care if they're dating or not. I just want them to keep making music. It's their fault for getting caught, to be honest. I'm sad that they're not free, but I'm fine that they're dating each other, lol. Seriously, I love Elements a lot. And if their happiness is what breaks them up... You know what? No. Regardless of whether they break up, I'm quitting this site if this is the sort of stuff you're gonna post. You just lost a reader. Idols are human too. Leave them alone. This would be real different if it wasn't an airport. But this is near someone's house, and that's not okay. To be honest, I don't agree with their lifestyle. But what good comes out of outing them? I don't want to be associated with other fans if we're going to be seen as creepy stalkers from now on. Katsuki scrolled through the comments on the post on his phone, lying on his bed at his parents' house. While still allowed to use the dorms as his home, staying under these circumstances made things too tense. Seeing his bandmates drop in occasionally to grab or drop stuff would only make them feel more guilty. Still, staying at his family home felt stuffy and wrong. However, it would never beat the stares he retrieved when he went to the agency to get any kind of work done, whether anyone needed him there or not. Getting into modeling was out of the question, at least for a while. He was fine with that. Deku also made the decision to stay with his mother for a while. He was also currently in talks with the agency to focus on acting lessons. Having to tell Koda that they wouldn't be seeing each other for filming was heartbreaking. Koda left the room to cry and refused to say goodbye to them when he and Deku had to go. Ichiro told them that he'd figure something out, as Denki did. Shoto promised nothing, but even Katsuki knew their leader would try doing something as well. The group was a family, after all. He still felt like he'd let them all down. Sighing, Katsuki closed out the site and almost tossed his phone to the other end of the bed before getting a call from Deku. Naturally, he answered it right away. Yo. Are you home? Yup. Could I come over? I don't really want to be alone with my thoughts right now. Katsuki sat up and looked at his window. As he figured, Deku was already on his way down the road. I can see you. So is that a yes? I don't know. I kind of want to say no just to see you turn around and walk back home. Deku stopped walking and looked towards the house with a frown. Katsuki caught his eye and cracked a smile, giving him a wave. Door should be unlocked. The dark-haired man stepped into his room a moment later and saw him lounging back. Kachan. Deku made room beside him, draping an arm over his waist. Katsuki adjusted himself so he could hold him closer. Talk to me. I feel like shit, Deku said. Like, at least if we paid the money, we'd be the ones affected. Now the group's been affected and we let them down. Katsuki couldn't disagree, but he was unable to find the voice within to agree. Since coming back, he was left with his own thoughts, and all those thoughts were how much he screwed everything up. They should have paid that money. That would have been the end of it, right? Or would more threats to expose them have come? Would they have needed to pay even more money back? They're probably angry with us, the dark-haired boy commented, and Katsuki felt a wetness on his shoulder. We were selfish, Kachan. We put them through a lot. He agreed with him on that as well, but for once, he found it in himself to respond otherwise. I don't think they're angry with us, Deku. He murmured. Don't doubt that they're angry in general. We all are, but I don't think it's directed at us. He hoped. He desperately hoped, especially after everything Shoto had done for them. Kachan? Deku's voice was still small. We haven't even been a group that long. I know. They were everything to us. I know. I know. I know. All he could say is, I know. There was nothing he could say or do to make the situation better. Deku pushed himself up and looked at him, and Katsuki noticed how red and puffy his eyes were. How long had he been crying? Is any of this worth it? We haven't even been dating that long, and that band was our job. I'm gonna lose it over us. Katsuki sat up. Izuku, are you considering? No. Yes? I don't know. Deku rubbed a hand over his tired face. I want my friends back. Our music. I'm still in denial about the suspension thing, and I can't focus on anything, and it's killing me knowing we're the ones who hurt our band. Just... A fresh tear trailed down his cheek. I still have so many things I wanted to do with them. With you. I don't want to break up. I want my music and you. And at the same time, I feel like I'm an idiot for being so upset over this, because if we had just waited the 3 years. Izuku. Katsuki stopped himself, wiping away more of his tears that slid down his cheeks. It's okay to want everything. You're human too, you know. You don't just stop being human after you become an idol. Feeling that way doesn't make you a bad person. How was he finding all these words? Didn't his father tell him something like this at one point? The Katsuki from 5 years ago wouldn't have said any of this. He would have told Deku to stop fucking crying and get over it. This was the entertainment industry. Of course it was gonna be tough, nerd. The Katsuki from 5 years ago would hate to have seen the soft person he was now, especially towards the man crying next to him. Now, though, he wanted everything Izuku wanted. Katsuki. Izuku was unable to finish his thoughts before the blonde's phone went off. Katsuki almost ignored it, before seeing it was a call from Ijiro. He looked at his boyfriend apologetically and answered. Yeah? Hey man, you home? Well, well, well. Looks like I'm Mr. Popular tonight. Then it's safe to assume Izuku's with you, 'cause we dropped by his place and no one's there. He's here. We're just talking about stuff. Katsuki stood to look out the window. He spotted the 3 bandmates, with Koda, holding both Shoto and Daki's hand. Ijiro was leading the way, and each man had a bag of food in hand. You said we. Koda said he misses you guys, so we thought we'd drop by and hang. He caught Deku's curious gaze, and left the room to head for the front door. Just come over then. Gotcha! See you in a sec. Katsuki opened the door before they reached it. Deku called out to them from behind. Guys! A small human rushed at Katsuki and hugged his legs, nearly locking him down. Placing a hand on the child's head, he looked back at their friends, who held up the bags. It's been way too quiet back at the house. Dinky grinned and winked. Though we'd come to see where the noise went. There should hopefully be enough food left over for your parents. Izuku kicked off his shoes and slid them out of the way from his foot. As if we'd crash at your place for free. Shoto lingered in the doorway as Izuku and Dinky went in, and Katsuki carefully peeled Koda off his legs. His gaze drifted downwards, and he bowed. Katsuki and Deku stepped forward awkwardly in response. I'm sorry. Shoto said, I haven't been a good leader. I couldn't even protect you when everything was going on. That fact that I still can't do anything now that... Hey. The blonde held up a hand. There's nothing you could have done. Don't apologize. Deku moved toward Shoto and carefully straightened him up. It's not your fault. We're the ones who... Hey! Izuku marched back at them to meet them. He placed a hand on Katsuki's shoulder and gestured between him and Deku. We've been trying to get the leader to stop feeling bad, and knew you were feeling bad. So for now, why don't we just have some fun, be bros, and relax for like 2 minutes? He didn't show it, but Katsuki could tell that even Izuku was worried for what may happen to their band. They all were, and it'd be strange if they weren't. They all tried to have fun as they ate that night, although the strain was obvious. Even Koda, who usually did as he pleased, regardless of how everyone was feeling, behaved and sat with Izuku, refusing to let go of his hand unless it was to sit with Katsuki. When Masaru and Mitsuki arrived later that night, they found Koda sleeping on the sofa, with 5 grown men passed around the kotatsu in their tiny living room. Through rain and sun, your #1 source for Element News. Calling all fans. For anyone who hasn't been keeping up, Midoriya and Bakugou had been suspended from Element activities because of the no dating policy. However, we at TRS find the suspension unfair and the policy inhumane towards people who just want to love. If you agree, please sign the petition here. We are also planning a meetup in front of UA Entertainment. If you have time, please check out the details on our mods blog post here. Thank you for your time. A week and a half passed, and Katsuki looked up from his music to stare at the ringing phone. Whatever it was, he doesn't want to deal with it. The ring stopped after a moment, and he exhaled, looking back at his work, trying to forget the world as if it now didn't exist. The ringing started up again. With a groan, he picked up the phone and looked at it before answering. Don't you have a recording set? You've got to come to UA, man. Ishiro's voice ripped through his own. It's crazy! It took a moment to register, but Katsuki could hear faint chanting in the background. Dude, a lot of people are pissed about you too. The blonde furrowed his eyebrows. No, I mean, they're pissed about the suspension. Extremely pissed. The redhead's words made him freeze. Nobody came into the building or got out. Cops are trying to disperse them, but holy shit. Katsuki found himself getting up and grabbing his coat. There are people out there with signs. It's pure chaos, dude. They really want you back. Mitsuki stopped Katsuki on the way out. Katsuki, where the hell? Deku's, was all he could say as he forced on his shoes and bolted for Deku's house. Ichiro continued to talk. Dude, even Aizawa is in shock about how extreme this has gotten. Seriously, nobody expected this, and I'm sure as hell the higher-ups are just as surprised. Like this has never happened before. I'm at Deku's now. The door opened just as he reached it, and Deku was in the process of slipping on his own coat with his phone to his ear. In unison, they both said, "See you," and hung up. Katsuki was out of breath when he shoved his phone into his pocket. "Denki?" "Yeah." Deku shut the door behind him, fixing his shoes. "Ijiro?" "Yup." They hurried to the agency. Not the best thing either of them should have done with how things were out there, but they needed to see it for themselves. One train ride and a jog over, they saw the chaos that Ijiro spoke of. From the look of things, people had slowly begun to disperse, but others were adamant on staying despite the arrival of more police. Most of the fans looked like students, with uniforms of different designs, staying as far away as they could as possible. Katsuki tapped Deku's arm and gestured for him to follow, ignoring some stares from passerbys not associated with the crowds. He led him to the locked back entrance of the building and used his key card to get in. While the inside of the building was not as chaotic as the outside, there was a stir. There were people concerned and agitated the crowd was disturbing the peace. There were others who found the whole situation amusing, especially over two members of a boy band. Katsuki could hardly believe that they caused this much of a stir. He assumed the worst would happen the day of the news and die down. But this... They met up with the rest of the group and looked out the windows. Many people in crowd had signs reading various things. "Elements always. We want Katsuizu. It's not the same with 3. Pull the suspension. Let them love. The ban is shit." Admittedly, Katsuki found it precious that they even figured out how to write elements and emphasize that they wanted all 5 members at the same time. While the crowd was much smaller now than it had been when they first arrived at the agency, Katsuki couldn't help but hope. Hope that something changed. If something has changed, you're the one who caused it, Kachan. "They're really causing a ruckus out there, aren't they?" CEO Nezu's voice spoke up from behind the band, and they nearly didn't catch his soft voice. "Sir," Deku spoke up. "I'm sorry." Nezu stopped him. "Why don't we talk in my office? It would be best if all 5 of you came." "It's been a long week, hasn't it? Barely a dent in your suspicion." The 5 boys were seated in front of the CEO's desk, afraid of where this conversation would lead, afraid of what the crowd might have caused, now that the whole band was sitting together like this. Katsuki's mouth was dry. The hope he felt earlier crumbled, and Nezu looked over them. "This outcry was unimaginable," the CEO finally said. "We expected the loss of sponsorships and the potential collaborations with your group. However, what happened today was unexpected." Nezu slid a small stack of papers across the desk. "We even received a petition, not only signed by fans, but people associated with the agency. Truthfully, a simple petition like this, no matter the amount of signatures, wouldn't be enough to change our minds." "Are we going to split up, sir?" Shadow asked, and to everyone's surprise, the response he received was a laugh. "After today? No, splitting you up is the last thing we want to do. With that kind of support, I'm afraid they'll burn down the building next." Katsuki couldn't laugh at the obvious joke. After meeting Toga, he could actually see it happening. "We haven't discussed this with the board. I'll deal with them, but I'll be pulling your suspension." Katsuki's heart jumped. "I will also revise the dating policy for everyone in the company," Nezu continued. "I tend to lack faith when it comes to fans and their idols. It seems fans these days are more mature than they used to be." "Sir?" Deku leaned down in his seat, clutching the edge of his desk. The CEO looked upon them kindly. "As idols, there will still be rules you absolutely must follow. But you are now free to date." End Chapter 17. Omake, deleted scene. Chapter 14. Letting the cake cool. Somewhere down the line, they ended up in Deku's room, on Deku's bed, with Katsuki's hand up Deku's shirt. And God, this boy was beautiful. All he ever wanted was to eat him. Deku, bless his soul, an entire existence on this damn earth, somehow got Katsuki's shirt off without taking his head off of it. But Katsuki struggled so much with the other man's shirt. That laugh from the shorter man ensued. The laughter stopped when the blonde shut him up by kissing him. So damn sweet. He trailed a hand over Deku's thigh before feeling the other man's hand already messing with Katsuki's pants. And how was this boy undressing him so easily? Deku. He found himself grunting against the other's lips, and Deku's eyes seemed to tear into him hungrily. And who was he to deny that look? Katsuki pulled back for a moment to kick off his own damn pants, and finally slid Deku's damn shirt off his body before tossing the shirt somewhere behind him. Who gave a shit, and went back to kissing him. Kachan? Deku murmured against his lips. Are we... So appetizing. So damn appetizing. As Katsuki started to trail kisses over his jaw, down to his neck. What, Deku? The roughness in his voice shocked the two of them, but had a very obvious effect on the other man as he groaned. Doing this. It came out as a whine, and it was adorable. And he was hearing this for himself. Want to? Fuck yes, please. There was a pause, and a blush spread across Deku's cheeks. His voice grew quieter. My bag has the stuff. Hot. Gotcha. Katsuki kissed him again, hooping his thumbs over the waistband of Deku's pants, before a loud voice interrupted from right outside the door. That familiar loud voice Katsuki grew up with. Everything stopped, and the two stared at each other, barely hearing the front door shut. The voice grew even louder, followed by a soft laugh from none other than Inko. Shit. The two scrambled for their clothes, as the hot atmosphere completely drenched with a chill. Deku looked around for his shirt, and ended up throwing Katsuki's on, while Katsuki hoped slightly as he hurried, trying to get his pants back on, only to lose his footing and hit the floor. Boys! Inko called, and they were so damn close to the door. And Katsuki was trying desperately to get his pants back on, as Deku glanced around the room for anything that seemed to be inappropriate, and damn it. The door opened, and their mothers were standing in the doorway. Everyone froze, staring back at one another like deers in a headlight. Mitsuki was the first to break the silence, bursting into laughter at the sight of her son on the floor, still struggling to get his pants on. Deku looked as though he wanted to vanish into the walls, covering his face and making an attempt to look as small as possible. Katsuki's mother was still laughing hysterically when Inko slowly shut the door without a single word. Katsuki lay on the floor for a moment, contemplating becoming a hermit, before Deku nudged him with his foot. Kachan? The blonde breathed in response. Yeah, I don't feel like it anymore. Both of them kept their heads down after getting properly dressed, leaving the room to find their mothers, their dear mothers, who gave birth to them and raised them and supported them through everything, waiting in the living room. Inko was still as embarrassed as earlier, but Mitsuki was at least calm after all the laughing. Deku was a worried shade of red, and Katsuki felt so damn awkward. He couldn't look at Inko. He could glare at his own mother, though, no problem. So, how long has this been going on? Mitsuki asked before anyone could say anything. We've been dating a few weeks. Vague as possible, he didn't want to talk about this. He would rather find a rock and hide under it. Mitsuki clapped her hands in excitement. Inko, our boys became men. Wait, did she actually think they both actually thought they went all the way? Mom, it's not... He wanted to explode, and Inko was listening to all of this. It was a surprise Deku hadn't passed out yet. No need to be embarrassed. Doing it, not doing it, it's all normal. Mitsuki got up and wrapped her arms around both of them. Why, when Masaru and I started dating, he was adorably shy about it, so I told him I'd wait forever if I don't want to hear about this, mother. Deku and Inko covered their faces. When Katsuki texted Ijiro when they got the cake ready to go, he was too embarrassed by the entire situation to even explain what happened. It was probably best they knocked this out now, so whenever it did happen, Izuku didn't make a big deal about it. Because everyone knew he'd find out one way or another. The next chapter is actually called Epilogue, but it's not the last chapter because there's a final chapter, and I double checked because I'm like, hold up, if this one's called Epilogue, please don't tell me that I made the mistake that like the next chapter is gonna be something else. No, I went to the next chapter, there's actually words, so something that I'm gonna read. So I got worried there for a second. But no, yeah. I almost didn't do the last part because I was reading. I'm like, oh, it's that. Oh god, wait, hold up. I thought this had no smut in it. Oh my god, wait, hold up. What? And then I read through on my own, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's actually hilarious. That's funny. They didn't even do it, and like the mothers probably think they did. I can't even imagine Inko. I also love how we have the contrast between how the four of them react. Bakugou's embarrassed, but he will still talk. Izuku is just embarrassed upon embarrassed upon embarrassed. Inko is also just embarrassed. Like, both of them are just like, please, can we get this over with, please? I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to think about it. Can we not? Can this not happen? Why is this happening? Alright? Mitsuki's like, I remember when I was young. Bakugou's like, please, mother, shut the fuck up. You're making this worse. Shut up. Shh, zip it. You're making it worse. I'm happy I never have to struggle with this, as an asexual. I don't know about you guys. Stay safe, though. It was very interesting. I called the whole, the ban was gonna be lifted because of the fans. The fans were gonna do outrage. Unfortunately, there was no, it's homophobic thrown out there. There were some comments where it was like, my dude, you seem homophobic. There was one specifically that I very much enjoy, which is like, I don't agree with their lifestyle, but this is so fucked up that they were outed. Like, okay, preached. You don't agree with the lifestyle, but you still respect them. We love that, right? Just because, like, you're not gay yourself or you think it's a sin or whatever, doesn't mean that you are supposed to be awful and mean to other people. Like, you could be like, hey, I don't agree with your lifestyle, but yeah, you don't deserve to be outed. You don't deserve to be hated. You don't deserve that very much. Preach on that, be kind. And you can't even blame it on your, like, I know some Christians and some Catholics, because they're pretty much the same. They're just like, oh, it's against my religion. Okay, first of all, okay, it's against your religion. It's not my religion. It's like being like, oh, I'm on a diet, so you can't eat that. Like, what the fuck? No. Second, okay, it's against your religion. But you know what also is against your religion? Being a bitch. Okay, no. But specifically, judging sinners. You are all inherently sinners. And, because I obviously, my family's all this, but you're all sinners. This is something that my grandma taught me. We are all sinners, right? And it's not up to us to judge other sinners. A sinner can't judge a sinner. It is up to us to love one another despite our sins. You're not being very live, laugh, God, Karen. But no, yeah. I think Nezu secretly, he's like, I like that this happened. I could lift the ban. I thought it was stupid. Putting you guys together. Nezu's probably like, alright, we need publicity. You two. Photo shoots. I need you to be lovey-dovey as fuck. And you two can't break up no more. I'm joking. That's probably not Nezu. Nezu's probably like, alright, let's capitalize off this. Let's make money. Money. But yeah. It's very interesting. I very much like this. Obviously the next chapter is called Epilogue. And literally it starts with most discussed articles this week. So that's gonna be interesting. We are 2 chapters before we completely finish this. The next series that's gonna be taking over this is, I went to go read it on my board and it just says future. I forget that sometimes I just write singular words. Like, for example, on this, since it's just called elements, it's elements on the board. But if it's something long, like before my heart gives out, right now on the board, it's just heart, or a silent high-pitched cry for help is just help on the board. So sometimes it's just that. But let me check on my notes. If I remember exactly, it was something unexpected future. An unexpected future, yes. It is an unexpected future by a series. on AO3, and it's a crossover between My Hero Academia and the Umbrella Academy. Specifically, it's if number 5 didn't. Okay, yeah, I'll read the or. Or instead of time traveling into the apocalypse, 13-year-old 5 Hargreaves teleported in the middle of the USJ fight. He gets a couple of new dads out of it. So we do get, I'm pretty sure, Eraser Mike is a thing here. Yes, Eraser Mike's a thing. So we get a little bit of Dad Zawa and Dad Mike, but not with Izuku or Hitoshi. And I'm pretty sure the main focus is probably either going to be 5 or Eraser Mike, one of those two, or probably both, like a combo of both. I think it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be very, very interesting indeed. So tune in for that one. And as always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.